Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Clarence Campbell. I'm the Regional Bank Area President for Wells Fargo Bank, and I also have the distinction of serving as the chairman for the Greater Baltimore Urban League. We are all very excited to share some updates on the news related to Baltimore hosting the National Urban League Conference today. And to get us started, I'd like to introduce J. Howard Henderson, President and CEO of the Urban League.
Good morning. Thank you, Clarence, for those kind remarks as we get started, because we are very pleased to have everyone here with us this morning. And the main objective today is to really introduce our host committee and talk about some of the things we're doing with our host committee. So before we get started, I know I'm deviating from the program a little bit. I would like for all the host committee members to stand and come up front. We're going to take a photo shot right quick before you all have to run out of here. I know it's Monday.
Miles, at the camera, at the camera. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We have a number of people who will be speaking today, so I'm not going to take very long. I'm not going to talk about the programs of the Urban League locally that we have, so you can look in your pamphlet, your booklet, and go to our website at www.gbel.org and read about the programs of the Urban League. But the National Conference helps support the local affiliate. We're one of 100 affiliates around the country, and whenever a national conference comes to your city, they like to leave some resources locally so that we can continue and support the programs of the local affiliate. So your support as members of our host committee and support of other folks who will be sponsoring the conference will help support the programs of the local Urban League. So I want to thank you for coming today and being a part of this. There are a lot of very important people, as you know, who are sitting up here on that I won't call all the names because I will forget someone out in the audience or up here with me. But I would like to thank our Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake, for her outstanding support when we heard about the Urban League Conference, the possibility. She stepped up and didn't hesitate not one moment to put all her resources behind what it took to bring the national conference to Baltimore. So let's give her a big hand. And we also want to thank, when we started talking about this, I met with some folks, and he never liked to have his name out there, Zach McDaniels and some people, to talk about how we could pull this together as my kitchen cabinet kind of operation. And fortunately, we were able to identify two great co-chairs, as Kim Horn and Calvin Butler. Let's give them a big hand. So without further ado, let me just turn the program back over and introduce, am I introducing Elijah, or are you doing that? Okay, I'm gonna let you introduce Elijah. Turn it back over to my great chairman of the board, Chairman Campbell.
Thanks, Howard. And again, we did talk about this being a national conference, and who better to bring us a national perspective than our own Congressman Elijah Cummings of the 7th District. So Elijah Cummings.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Well, we can do better than that. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It is certainly my honor and my privilege to be here, and this is a major event. Baltimore has gone through a lot, and people ask all over the country, wherever I go, how we're doing. And I tell them that we are not a perfect city, but we are reaching for perfection. In order to get to where we have to go, people have to understand that things like this conference can only make us better. When I think about the Urban League, and I think about the way they structure their conferences so that they give entrepreneurs an opportunity to sell their wares or their services, where they open up the doors and go into the community, open their doors and then go into the communities to make a difference in the communities. In other words, they don't just come and have motion, commotion, emotion, and no results. And so this is, and it comes at a very, very critical time. And so to everybody, Clarence Campbell and our mayor, and to Mark Morial, our two chairs, and J. Howard Henderson, to the host committee, to our clergy and our business community, I thank you. One of the things that we've been trying to do, and working with the mayor and Congressman Sarbanes and others, is trying to encourage everybody that has any kind of event like this, conference, to come to Baltimore. Because we want to be able to showcase the great city that we are. And one of the things that's going to be happening very shortly, at the end of January, we've been able to convince all the Democrats in Congress to come here at the end of this month. They'll be here for 3 days because we consider that very, very important. And they had enough faith to do the same thing that the Urban League is doing. The other thing that is so good about the Urban League conference is it comes at a time when it's right around the time of just a week or two before the Democratic and Republican national conventions. That's major. The Urban League has always had the ability to draw in our nominees for president. So then that, again, puts the spotlight on Baltimore. And so this is a critical moment and a critical time. But again, I personally thank the Urban League. And you know, the thing that I think a lot of people don't think about, Madam Mayor, and I know we've talked about this many times, a lot of people don't realize the significance, full significance of a convention, particularly of this size, coming to a city. The people who live on my block, the ones who work at the restaurant, the ones who park the cars, the ones who do all kinds of event planning, things of that nature, they all get an opportunity to make some money and to be able to take care of their families. And that's what it's all about, trying to help people take care of their families. And so, again, I want to thank all of you. And again, I look at the clergy, and to the clergy, I ask you to do me a favor. Ask you to keep my mother in your prayers. Unfortunately, she suffered a stroke here, on New Year's Day in church. And so, again, I just want to make sure that we all go out there working together, show the world. This ain't just a Baltimore thing. You know, and I got to say this. It's interesting how when there's negativity, it's all over the world. Well, it's shown all over the world. We want to show Baltimore for what the mayor talks about all the time, for the great city that we are all over the world. And so again, to all of you and to the business community, thank you for stepping up. I really appreciate what you all have done. You didn't have to do it, but in the words of Sam and Dave, you did it. And I thank you.
Thank you, Congressman, for that perspective, and certainly our prayers to your mother and your family. Now I'd like to ask another strong supporter of the Greater Baltimore Urban League to come forward. So please join me in welcoming our city president, council president, Bernard C. Jack Young.
Thank you, and good morning to everyone. You know, I always have to follow Elijah. I get nervous and get the shaking up here. But I just want to thank Congressman Cummings for delivering my remarks this morning. To our mayor, to all the elected officials, to all of the organizations that have come together to support this great conference. I want to thank President Henderson and his board, the host committee, and all of you, because we're looking forward to showing off Baltimore to the world. Elijah Cummings said earlier how they showed all the negativity, but this is something positive. I want to see if CNN and all the national news will come here to cover this great conference. This is going to be a shot in the arm to the city of Baltimore financially, and we want to just thank you all for getting this conference here so that others could see that Baltimore City is ready and able to continue to have wonderful things in this city without any kind of events or conflicts. We're ready to move forward. We're a great city. We come through the 1968 riots, the Great Fire of Baltimore, and the April unrest. And all I see is better things for Baltimore in the future. Again, thank you for having me here this morning. And I look forward to the conference and look forward to working with President of the Urban League. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President Young. And again, while all of us are excited about the programs and the activities, some of us, particularly the banker like me, are more concerned about the financial picture. So allow me to introduce a very well-respected woman who keeps us all on our toes, Baltimore City Comptroller Joan Pratt.
Good morning, everyone. Baltimore is grateful that the National Urban League Board leadership and the executive staff, and we are appreciative of Mr. Howard Henderson and the Greater Baltimore Urban League, along with everyone who is involved with this effort to bring this 2016 National Urban League Annual Conference. The goals of the National Urban League is that every American have access to jobs with a living wage and good benefits, and that every American child is ready for college, work, and life, and that every American lives in a safe, decent, affordable, and energy-efficient housing on fair terms, and finally, that every American have access to quality and affordable healthcare solutions are the goals that our city continually strives to effectuate in the quest to make Baltimore City greater. We are pleased to have the National Urban League join us to underscore these core values to form the National 2016 Annual Conference. The formation of the host committee is an ideal step showcasing the city's commitment to making this a memorable and outstanding event. I know that the host committee will go above and beyond to impress upon our visitors the significance of Baltimore's rich cultural history. I look forward to the visit of the National Urban League along with its members, guests, and with great appreciation, I thank you, and anticipation, I thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pratt. You know, we've talked about a lot of great things that are happening with the conference coming. One of the best is all of the new people that will be coming to Baltimore. We anticipate having over 10,000 attendees for this conference. And many of them, this will be their first time in our great city. So let me, there's some even more interesting numbers related to the conference. So let me introduce Thomas Noonan, CEO of Visit Baltimore, to fill us in more. Thank you, Thomas.
Thank you. Good morning, I'm Tom Noonan. On behalf of the entire tourism community, I want to thank the National Urban League and the local affiliate. Jay, you're a man of your word. If you remember the lunch we had 8 years ago, we talked about bringing this to Baltimore. Thank you for doing this for us. We greatly appreciate it. This is, I don't know, maybe the second dozen one you brought home for us since you've been mayor, so thanks again. The closer, our mayor, thanks for doing that again. We greatly appreciate it. You know, we think there's going to be at least 10,000 people in town for this convention. We think it's going to use over 6,000 hotel rooms. We think it's going to have over a $4 million economic impact, which is great. But think about all the national PR positive images about Baltimore in the press. That's press we can't buy, and it's going to be in the national spotlight, so it's great timing. Also, we had a hole last August in our calendar. We had nothing over these days, so to be able to fill this prestigious event in our convention calendar in less than a year out is an absolute home run for the city. So again, I look forward to working with you guys and to have that convention come here to town. Everybody's been asking me, what's been going on in the convention business since the April unrest? I tell you what, we've had 18 conventions come to Baltimore, a lot more than that, but 18 of them have had higher attendance than they anticipated when they booked our city. We've had 5 conventions come to town that have all-time record attendance since the unrest. So Baltimore's still a great convention city. It's always the city that we've always been known and proud to promote, and it's still hitting home runs when it comes to conventions. So we're really excited about having the National Urban League here this summer. I know that our hotel partners, the convention center, our entire city is excited about it. So thanks again. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Next, I'd like to invite another great supporter and an important member of our host committee, Kirby Fowler of the Downtown Partnership.
Good morning. First of all, Happy New Year to everyone. It's sort of rough to start off the new year with a press conference on Monday morning, but here we are. When Howard brought to my attention the possibility of this conference, I got excited immediately. First of all, this conference is unusual because it leaves this building. It'll go out into the community and connect to the community. And you don't usually see that with conventions that come into town. And so we're very excited about that. But also we're excited that they're coming to our city at a very important time. We have great strengths, but great challenges. We're not unlike many other major U.S. cities, but it's a good time for them to be here and help us through, to help us promote our strengths as well as to examine our weaknesses and our challenges. My job on behalf of the host committee has been to reach out to many members of the business community and funders to help out, and many have already stepped up, and thank you for helping to do that. Others have been receiving my harassing emails, and they will continue to receive those from me, but please help out this conference. It's not just a charitable thing to do, it's good for our city. It's good for your own employees to get involved in their many activities. And finally, I just want to point out, for the last several years, we've used a hashtag and even given out temporary tattoos that say Proudly Urban. But for this August, 2016, it'll be Proudly Urban League. So we're very happy to do that. All right, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thanks, Kirby. From the very beginning of the planning and anticipation of the national conference coming to Baltimore, our next speaker has been a solid supporter. He has offered his advice, counsel, and commitment to forward our local initiatives for hosting the conference. He serves as co-chair of the host committee and has offered his hospitality, time, and resources to ensure the conference will be a great success. And that's none other than Calvin Butler, President and CEO of Baltimore Gas and Electric.
So let me be among the many to wish you a Happy New Year and good morning to you. The primary theme of this year's conference, forging a community alliance to deliver broad benefits. On behalf of BGE, I am truly proud and honored to serve as co-chair of the host committee in planning and supporting this effort to bring such an important event to Baltimore. Working with so many of our community leaders from such a wide range of disciplines toward a single purpose is indeed a welcomed opportunity, and to share a leadership role in the endeavor with my friend Kim Horn from Kaiser Permanente Mid-Atlantic is both a pleasure and a privilege. A little bit about the host committee that you've heard so much about. Currently the members consist of more than 60 people and represents leaders from Baltimore's corporate, civic, faith, and academic communities. Each is committed to supporting the National Urban League and its Greater Baltimore affiliate in helping to examine the issues and seek solutions from some of our nation's cities, specifically Baltimore. The committee is charged over the next 6 months with pledging their time, talents, and resources in helping to make this conference this August a major success. We will be helping in shaping the conference discussion by providing local input on themes, topics, events, and activities. In addition, our committee will play a role in identifying local speakers and panelists for the dozens of general sessions, seminars, and workshops to be presented during the week. Another contribution that you've heard about is that by hosting this conference, we'll be making a lasting and critical commitment, and that is to helping widely promote the critically important work that the Greater Baltimore Urban League does in our community every day. Howard shied away from talking about what the Urban League is looking to every day, but let me tell you a couple of things. From training youth and adults for real and sustaining employment opportunities, to preparing high school and middle school students for college, and being a leading voice on pressing issues that impact our region. And soon to play a major role in educating and supporting entrepreneurs as they start and expand their businesses and create more job opportunities in our communities. I'm proud to say that BGE has been a long supporter of the Greater Baltimore Urban League, and we are especially proud to work hand in hand with others in the context of hosting this committee. Think about that. Already over 60 members of this host committee, and we're just getting started. As a host committee, we've also taken on another significant challenge that my colleague Kim Horn will tell you more about in her remarks. Thank you, and we look forward to this August. Kim?
Happy New Year and good morning. 2016 is going to be a great year. I am very pleased and honored to join Calvin Butler and the rest of the host committee for hosting this committee. Calvin's enthusiasm and the rest of the committee in our role is, I share that. So we're up to a big job though, and I want to share a little bit about that big job that we're up to. That I've been reminded that most cities that host this national convention have 2 or 3 years to plan. And it takes not only a lot of support and organization, but it also takes a lot of financial resources. However, when Baltimore was thrust into the international spotlight with the unrest that occurred, the National Urban League's board sensed Baltimore deserved an opportunity to demonstrate its resilience and offer the world a better and brighter perspective of life in this charmed city. When the news reached the mayor's desk, she assured our local National Urban League, Howard Henderson and Mark Morial, that Baltimore was up to the challenge and that we would put together a host committee for success. So as Calvin alluded earlier, we have several tasks at hand, and we have assembled an impressive group of people with lots of different talents and resources to make this convention a success. But our significant challenge today is to raise financial resources. We have to raise $1.5 million to fund the local activities to host this event. And I'm again reminded that we only have 9 months to make this happen. So, but in the Baltimore's true fashion, we've already announced, we'll be ready to announce that we've reached 30% of our goal of that $1.5 million as we start this new year on January 6th. I'd like to acknowledge the people who helped us set the pace. First of all, BGE Exelon, Bank of America, PNC Bank, Care First Blue Cross and Blue Shield, the City of Baltimore, the State of Maryland, and of course Kaiser Permanente. In the weeks to come, we'll be reaching out to more of our fellow leaders and in the corporate and foundational community in pursuit of our goal, and because we have an April deadline. So in closing, I feel honored to be here this morning and sharing this role as co-chair with Calvin Butler, and I look forward to working with all of you to make this convention the best ever. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. Last but certainly not least, our final speaker has brought and continues to bring support and leadership to this project and projects and efforts across our city. She's offered the support of the City of Baltimore and has been a catalyst in supporting the programs of both the National and Greater Baltimore Urban Leagues, and is excited to see the conference make its stop here in Baltimore in August. And that's our own Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake.
Thank you so much. Good morning and Happy New Year to you all. I am delighted to join all of you today to announce the host committee of the upcoming National Urban League Conference. I want to thank everyone who has been a part of this exciting process. It has been like an exciting roller coaster ride, and I know that we are just really beginning. I want to thank Calvin Butler, Kim Horn. I want to thank Congressman Cummings. I want to thank Mark Morial, who is such an inspiration to me as a former mayor and a former president of the U.S. Conference of Mayors. He certainly inspires what I do every single day, and gives me a sense that mayors make such a difference in this world, and we will continue to. And I'm just grateful for his leadership on the national level. And Jay Howard, thank you for bringing this home to Baltimore. I'm excited about this year. The National Urban League Board selected Baltimore to be its host city for 2016. It could not have been a more crucial year for Baltimore, and we're proud and excited. After the challenges of last April, having leaders from across our country acknowledge our city and its many assets helps rebuild our city from strength. The strength of our legacy, the strength of our history, and the strength of the promise of our future. The work will help us towards solutions to help our city heal, renew our focus on issues that affect not only Baltimore, but affect our country as we grapple with significant issues in urban areas all throughout our country. The partnership with the National Urban League as a conference host will usher in new opportunities for Baltimore, and that's one of the things that really, and I know many of you around this room, when you heard about the conference, and we've had conferences before, but this is different. When the Urban League comes to town, they don't just host some parties. Now, I know you're going to host some parties, but you don't just host some parties. But it's about empowering our community. And when we talked about the fact that this is about inspiring entrepreneurs, reaching into our communities, deep into our communities, and inspiring this next generation to be the leaders who they are called to be, and giving them the tools that they need to do it, that excited me. So we know in taking on this exciting challenge, we know there's no such thing as a free lunch. And with that in mind, we knew that hosting such an auspicious occasion, event, we would need to raise some funds to do it. So when I was very glad when Jay Howard came to me, he talked about the team that he was convening as the host committee that would not only provide guidance related to the conference and programs and activities, but also would do the heavy lifting when it came to raising the dollars required to host the many events associated. So 30 days after the conference was announced, Congressman Cummings and I joined the National Urban League CEO, Mark Morial, at a luncheon hosted by Calvin Butler. And at that luncheon, I was very impressed to see dozens of corporate, philanthropic, and civic leaders gathered to support the hosting of this conference. I was both humbled and honored. Not that I had any doubt that Baltimore would step up to the plate for something so significant, but it was inspiring to know how quickly our community came together. And I want to thank Kim Horn, I want to thank Calvin Butler, not only for their leadership in co-chairing the host committee, but also for setting the pace in getting contributions on behalf of their companies. They set the bar very high and have since inspired others to join them with donations and pledges totaling nearly $500,000. I know you're probably already past that by now, which, as Kim said, is about 30% of the funds that are needed. And I would like for you to join Kim in acknowledging the support of Care First, Bank of America, BGE, Exelon, PNC Bank, Kaiser Permanente, Mid-Atlantic, in moving the host committee closer to their goal of $1.5 million. I am hopeful that many others in the corporate community and the foundations who are here today will also answer the call, respond in the most generous way to support the conference and what the conference will mean to Baltimore. I have no doubt by our deadline in early April that the committee will be able to announce the completion of its fundraising. I think we'll be able to do it before then. A nice time would be around my birthday. That's the 17th of March. It'll give us an early start, and we'll make that the goal. St. Patrick's Day, you won't forget it. It'll be a nice time to announce that we have reached that goal. This convention marks a major milestone for the National Urban League and a major milestone for the city of Baltimore, and my administration stands committed to making sure that every neighborhood in our city continues to move forward and that we're using Baltimore's economic assets to create opportunity, training, and jobs for our local residents, and that we set an example for what's possible in urban areas across our country. Again, I want to thank the National Urban League for choosing Baltimore to host this important event. I want to thank J. Howard Henderson for agreeing to accept their challenge, and to Calvin and Kim and all of the host committee members. And thank you for helping to put Baltimore's best foot forward. Again, happy 2016. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before we wrap up, I'd like to bring up Howard Henderson just for some final remarks.
Thank you, Chairman Campbell. One of the things I wanted to make sure we all understood what dates. I don't think we mentioned the dates. August 1 through August 6. August 1, we have a pre-conference to start with all the CEOs and the leadership of our various board chairs and of our auxiliaries, the Guild and the young professionals, from August 1 through August 3rd. Then the conference kicks off August 3rd with Mark making the State of Black America and the State of the Urban League speech. And he'll be doing it at a local church here. We're not ready to announce that church yet. He'll be doing it at a local church here. And that's August 3rd, a very important date for the host committee because we will be hosting a reception for all the delegates in the city. And we're planning that as we speak. We're looking forward to having those plans completed within the next couple of weeks. But mark that date down, August 3rd. There'll be a reception following Mark's speech. His usually speeches starts at 6, over by 8:30, and then the reception starts immediately after that. So that's a very important date for you. Prior to the national conference coming here, we will have a youth summit a week prior with young people from all around the country, from the affiliates around the country, coming to Baltimore. Approximately 600 to 700 young people will be in attendance. We will be hosting that youth summit at a local college here in Baltimore. That announcement should be made by the end of February, exactly what school we would locate. I know a team came through recently and reviewed a number of colleges, so they will be making a recommendation on that. So those are important activities that will be taking place. So August the 3rd, remember that. And also, we need to get the word out to the community that the exhibit hall, which will open on August the 3rd also, is open to the general public. It's not a closed hall. We invite the public to come through. We have a career center that will be going on, fair that will be going on there. So there's a lot of opportunities for the community to get involved and engage with the convention as a whole. So we want to make sure we're community friendly and reaching out to the community. So those are very important things we need to mention. Also, we have a day of service that we'll be operating. We don't know what day that will be. Zach, what date is that? Do you know? That's Saturday. At the end of the conference, we have a day of service. We'll be doing something out in the community. Kevin Johnson, his firm, is doing some work with us. Am I correct? And they will be doing some work with us in terms of hopefully building a playground in one of the communities in Baltimore. So we'll be getting more information out to you, but as part of the host committee, we'll be connecting with you on a regular basis and keeping you updated on where we are and how you can help us move this conference forward. So I want to thank you for coming out. Thank you for your support. See you soon. Oh, I got another notice. Okay. Oh, our website. Okay, www.gbul.org. We also will be looking for volunteers. You will be able to sign up and drive people to our website after January the 15th to be able to sign up, become volunteers. It's functioning today? Oh, great. They're ahead of schedule. So if you have people who want to participate and volunteer for the conference, we need at least 1,000 volunteers because we have volunteers each day at the conference. We can't work people no more than 2 or 3 hours as volunteers, as you know. But if your companies and people you know in your community, your churches would like to have people to volunteer, they can go to our website, www.gbul.org, and register today to become volunteers for the conference.